Hello, welcome all you awakening wonders. My name is Chrissy and today I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the 11th of August. Now, if you are new to my channel, I discuss a lot about the current global energies as well as the Great Awakening process. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification, and that lets you know when my videos pop up, and we'll just get started and we'll see what comes up. Oh, the guides are giving me this image of the elites and the people that are currently governing our world, globe, whatever you want to call it, and it's showing me them flying in on their jet planes, because we know they've got their terrible carbon emissions with their private jet planes, and they are having a lot of global meetings. I don't think anyone could deny there's a lot of meetings going on, and they're showing me them coming into land, and I'm hearing that little I'm sure you guys will relate to it, zip plane, zip plane, zip plane. There was a show, I'm sure it was in the 80s as well, called Fantasy Island. And people would fly in, usually the well-to-do people or the elites, and they would have a fantasy time on this island. And there was a guy, I can't remember his name, and he wore a white suit, and he had this little mini-me guy who also wore a white suit. He was like a midget guy. And they, together they created the fantasies for these, like, it was like this big holiday resort, and people would fly in and then they would have their fantasy experience, so it made their fantasies kind of come true. It was a very strange kind of show, actually. It would be interesting to watch that now, wouldn't it, and just see. It's hard to remember it, but I remember I really enjoyed watching it. It was probably a bit of escapism back then. But this is the image I'm getting of these elites, like, landing and living out their fantasy. Now, if you think about it, when they all meet in Davos and they all have their big global meetings about how wonderful they are, it's all a big fantasy and an illusion as well, because it doesn't mean it's all come to fruition. And we know here on my channel that it hasn't come to fruition. We know that lots of hurdles get put in front of these government rollouts. But I'm definitely getting this fantasy island. They're all flying in and they're living out their, like, fantasy. This is the global elites and all the people taking all the money, as we know they are. They're living this, like, false life over here on Fantasy Island. Meanwhile, everybody back here, which is all of us and everybody waking up, we're still trying to live some sort of normality over here, while they're living in a false illusion. Now, I'm definitely getting that the hurdles have been put in front of them. They're showing me the red carpet rollout of these global elites and the Great Reset agenda has not been smooth. We've all been very clever, and this is all us naughty children on my channel. We've, like, slid hurdles under the red carpet, so they've got to try and scale all these hurdles along the way. It's not been an easy rollout for these elites. Now, we know, and I've talked about it recently, that everything coming out at different times has caused a lot of mass confusion. This is globally. This is everybody. We've got Canada using, I think you're using their, like, credit apps, or they're trying to bring that in. We know Sri Lanka's been forced to use it now after their big uprising. Their credit scoring, their fuel, the carbon emissions app, rather. And this is what's going on. And now that's causing other people to wake up, because people think, hang on, this conspiracy is coming true. Why is there a carbon app? What's going on here? As meanwhile, they fly around in their jets, and I don't think they're even probably getting credit scored for all of that, are they, with their carbon emissions on the jet planes? Of course. And that's what people are seeing. People are seeing all the injustice, and this is great. But this is what I'm saying. They should have been smarter and done everything at the same time. But because, like I said yesterday with our Albanese Prime Minister, they're all competing now against each other. Who can get this out first? Who can get their people to comply the most? And who's going to do the best with the renewable? They're competing amongst themselves. So these elite global leaders, we pretty much know who they are. Jacinda Ardern, Macron, God, Trudeau, Albanese. God, they're all coming together. We know they're trying to, like, compete now with each other, and it's causing them to rush out their rollout, stomp on people. But by stomping on people, you wake people up, because it's like when you hit something, it wakes people up. When you hit people hard, it wakes them up. So that's what I'm definitely getting. There's this global uprising, because they're living in and I keep saying it, they are living a fantasy. This has not gone smooth for them. They have hiccups and hurdles too because they don't know how people are going to react to the reset agenda. Not very well, obviously, in most cases. Some go along with it. We know there's always the compliers, but there's more starting to rise up against this tyranny now. I'll just see where else we go with this. I'm getting Sweden actually today. I'm feeling like Sweden is a bit of a red hot mess. People are really fighting back there now. They don't want this. They don't want these systems implemented. And they're adamant. They're very strong-willed in Sweden. I do feel there's going to be a lot of fight back, kickback. There's a big raising of the frequency in Sweden at the moment. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of changes in Sweden. People are really standing up now. They want to get their power back in Sweden. Definitely getting that for Sweden. They must be trying to really push a lot of things onto you over there. Just let me see where else we go. I'm getting Great Britain. Great Britain's being really defiant. They're turning their back on government. They've had enough. To them, it's like, I'm getting the word overkill. It's overkill. This whole, well, we know to be mostly the jab event. That's been overkill. People are seeing that now. And they're really pushing that. It could be they're pushing the Mpox there, but it's overkill now. People have turned off. It's like turning your TV off, but it's like they're turning off the jab narrative, which is great. We need them to turn the jab narrative off and stop complying and following that path, because the more people comply, the more it takes away our freedom. And it makes this battle really, really hard for anyone moving forward. So that's a good thing in Great Britain. Hang on, as we get. I get Ireland. There's a lot happening in Ireland. Because people want to get back to basics. This is exactly why people are standing up and uprising now, and it's overkill because they want to get back to their lives. They're showing me people like in Ireland wanting to drink a pint of beer, having an ale at the pub, having a few laughs. They're showing me that kind of warm, cosy scene with the wood fire burning and crackling in the background at the Irish pub. This is what people want. They want to get back, I said it yesterday, to their grassroots. They just want familiarity and they want simple things now. And you know, if nothing else that's come from this ridiculous narrative and pandemic and stupidness, people have gone back to basics, and it's kind of a beautiful thing. We know it. If you're on here on my channel, we know a lot of us have gone back to really basic living, and we're really embracing it and we're really enjoying it. And that's what they're showing me. People want to just enjoy those simple experiences again, connecting with others. Like I said, just sitting by the fire having an ale, or I don't know what you call them in Ireland, but I'm just getting that. And this is globally as well. People just want that. They just yearn now for those simple things because, of course, we've all been deprived of them for like nearly 2.5, 3 years. Ugh. But there's a lot of movement in Ireland because people want their lives back. They want their lives back. And I mean, 2 years, 3 years, that's been stolen from people. That's 3 years you can't get back of just being locked up in your house, or on and off locked up in your house and dictated to. And I'll just see where else we go. Hang on. I'm getting that industries have been really, really affected. And I think you'd have to be silly to not notice that things are being affected. It's not just small business, and I said this the other day. It's the business that's in between. So if you think of the little people, all the peasants, which is all of us, and these elite people, in between there is a very giant sort of ladder and scale of people and wealth as well. And what they're saying now is they're even sort of coming after these industries, these bigger industries now. It's starting to affect, it's sort of crushed a lot of small business. Gosh, in Melbourne here, there's so many shops rather, and coffee shops and things shut in the CBD because they got people working from home. And so there's no one in the CBDs now. A lot of them haven't trickled back. It's just left all these for lease signs apparently. But this is what I'm saying. The small businesses have been sort of shut down. But now with all the governments wanting to increase wages and all the cost of freight and all the cost of, as we know, everything, electricity, water, you name it, rates, it's starting to cripple other industries now. It's not just the little people. Well, everybody's pretty much the little people now, according to their fantasy rollout. But now it's affecting a lot of other industries. For example, we know, well, obviously the farmers, but, you know, the truckers and all the construction industries, transporting timber and things like this. All the cost of living is going up, so it filters down the line. And I feel like a lot of these businesses, and I said that the other day, they might start to go under because they can't afford to pay staff. They're going to skimp on things. We might find more people might not be getting paid their super. There's going to be a lot of this confusion created and all this sort of challenges and difficulties now for these businesses to keep their doors open. These bigger businesses, like they're saying plant, you know, like not power plants, but like factories that employ a lot of people, but they're still not on that elite level. So I do feel there's going to be, in the next few months, we're going to see a lot more collapsing of these bigger industries. Because everybody's being taken down. No one can escape, not when it comes to these elites rolling out their great fantasy of the Great Reset agenda on Fantasy Island. Makes you sick, doesn't it? Just destroying lives and stomping on everybody. Just let me see what else we get today. I keep getting it. People are standing up. People are standing up. They're finding it inside themselves to stand up because they don't want this. And now you think about it, if people are just discovering what this is, which as we know here on my channel is the Great Reset agenda, it's pretty horrifying and scary. If you watch any of those WEF videos in Davos in Switzerland, isn't it? It's quite scary, the stuff that comes out of their mouth. I posted a video the other day that I shared from somebody had found it in, obviously, the archives, and it was from 1993, and they were talking about what we're currently going through today. It might pay you to check that out on my page. It's Chrissy Fitzgerald, Psychic Life Coach, on my Facebook public page. I've got a private and a public. I keep my family and friends just on my private. But go and check that video out because it's very interesting listening to him talk. And that was in 1993, and he would have been classed as a conspiracy theorist. But he's talking about the microchips in the hand. Like, this is just so bizarre that it was planned so long ago. And he talks about the depopulation and things in that video. So we know, and I know a lot of you guys know out there because you always chat to me down below about it, this has been planned for a very long time. And it's finally like their big fantasy plan is they're trying to get it to come to fruition. But it hasn't as yet because there's so many hurdles being put in front of them because they didn't know how people were going to react. And people react. Look at all of us. We reacted very, very early, realised something was amiss, and we turned our back on government and walked away from all of that garbage. And found our safe place, which we created here, which is called Terra Bella, meaning beautiful earth, and getting back to the basic way of living. I'll just see if there's any closing messages today. Oh, and they've done this for Olivia Newton-John. They said, we do have to believe we are magic. And that was the song we had of Olivia Newton-John's the other day. We do have to believe we are magic is the words in that song, and nothing can stand in our way. And that's true. We don't have that fear of government anymore. As much as we used to have that fear in the very beginning because things got a little out of hand, and with the wellness camps and things, we've talked about that before being built, it did scare a lot of us, and the vilification was quite frightening. But it's saying that we are magic and nothing can stand in our way now. So that's why it's so important that we keep moving forward in our strength and our power. If we have to, it's showing us resting on our sword, which is the Braveheart image again. But if we had to, we would charge forth and raise our sword. But the guides are saying we don't have to anymore. We just need to have a rest. So I'm going to give you permission. The guides are giving you permission to have a rest now. Stay out of all this rubbish and watch Fantasy Island from afar. Maybe go check that out. It was a very funny show. I do remember it. But this is all still a fantasy for them, and I think that's what we need to take from this video today, is it's still a fantasy. It hasn't all come to fruition. This is just the global dream that these elite people have. Yes, we know they're trying to push it and implement it onto people, but it hasn't rolled out perfectly. So they've got to reassess. Gosh, our Prime Minister's gone on holidays, apparently. I don't know where. Jet set it off probably in his little plane. And where's he gone? Are they having a global meeting? We don't know. They haven't talked about it. Gosh, when ScoMo went on holidays in Hawaii, they talked about it here and everyone was whinging, and we don't even know where Albo is. So you do have to question, you know, are they all meeting on Fantasy Island and having their great get-togethers to keep moving the agenda forward? Or I don't even know where he is. No one knows. But anyway, I guess we'll see when changes happen when he comes back again. We'll probably get something else implemented. It just goes on and on and on. I wish they'd just give it up. I don't know how that's going to happen, but anyway, we'll keep pushing back and striking and just see what we can, see what dints we can create in their great, perfect reset agenda. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye from Australia. Take care, everybody. I'll leave you with that today. Just some food for thought today. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the like buttons, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye, everybody. Bye from Australia.